7 Lego sets worth more than you paid. These are 7 Lego sets sitting quietly in attics and closets that are now worth several times what their owners originally paid, and some of them were never even opened. Lego has quietly become one of the most consistent collectible markets in the world. And unlike most toys, certain sets do not lose value the moment they leave the store. They gain it. Here is what is actually happening on the secondary market right now, and which sets are proving that a cardboard box of plastic bricks can outperform a lot of traditional investments. Let us start with the set most collectors point to first. Number 1, the Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. Released in 2007, this was the original UCS Falcon, long before LEGO's larger 2017 re-release. At launch, it retailed for around $500, expensive for its time, but nothing outrageous for a flagship Star Wars set. Today, sealed copies routinely sell in the range of $4,000 to $6,000. That is roughly 8 to 12 times the original price. Part of the reason is scarcity. This was the version that held the record for the largest LEGO set ever produced for nearly a decade, and part of it is pure nostalgia. Fans who grew up wanting this exact model, in this exact box, are now adults with the income to finally buy it, and they are competing for a supply that stopped growing the day it retired. Number 2, Cafe Corner, the set that started an entire genre. This one might be the most quietly remarkable entry on this list. Cafe Corner launched in 2007 as the very first set in what became LEGO's Modular Buildings series, the line of detailed, stackable city buildings that adult fans obsess over to this day. It retailed for about $140. A sealed copy today can sell for well over $2,000, which works out to more than a 1,600% increase since release. Annualized, that's over 20% a year, a return that would make most stock portfolios jealous. Cafe Corner isn't valuable because it's flashy. It's valuable because it was first, and because the modular series it launched became one of the most beloved, most collected lines LEGO has ever made. Number 3, the Taj Mahal. Before LEGO's 2017 re-release, the original 2008 Taj Mahal held the title of the largest LEGO set ever produced, with over 5,900 pieces. It launched at roughly $300. Sealed original copies now sell in the range of $2,500 to $3,800, again, multiple times the original price. Even after LEGO brought the set back years later, the original 2008 version kept its premium because collectors specifically want the first release, not the reissue. That distinction, original versus re-release, matters more in the LEGO resale world than most people expect. And it's part of why serious collectors track version numbers as closely as they track the sets themselves. Number 4, the Black Sea's Barracuda. This one takes us back further, a pirate-themed set from the late 1980s that's become one of the most sought-after vintage LEGO releases in existence. It featured detailed pirate minifigures, a working anchor, and a level of design ambition that was unusual for its era. Decades later, the pirate theme it helped define has essentially become its own subculture within the LEGO collecting community, and original sealed copies of the Barracuda now command prices far beyond what any 1989 buyer could have imagined. It's proof that appreciation isn't only about recent, flashy licensed sets. Sometimes the most valuable pieces are the ones that quietly defined a theme decades ago. Number 5, the Galaxy Explorer. This is where things get almost sentimental. Released in the late 1970s, during LEGO's earliest space-themed era, the Galaxy Explorer represents the exact moment LEGO decided spaceships and astronauts were worth building. It's a foundational piece of LEGO history, and because so few sealed copies survived nearly 5 decades of childhoods, moves, and basement floods, the ones that did are now extraordinarily valuable to collectors who want a physical piece of that origin story. Age alone doesn't guarantee value in the LEGO market. Plenty of old sets are worth very little, but when a set is both old and historically significant, that combination is where the real appreciation happens. Number 6, the Eiffel Tower. This is a more recent example, released in 2022, and it shows that appreciation is not only a vintage phenomenon. Standing over 4 feet tall when built, with just over 10,000 pieces, it became the tallest Lego set ever produced. It retailed for around $630. Sealed copies are already trading in the $600 to $900 range, a modest but real premium just a few years after release. As a record-holding large-format display piece, demand from serious builders and interior decorators alike is keeping the price floor unusually stable. Number 7. The Titanic. Released in 2021, the Titanic is the second largest Lego set ever made, with just over 9,000 pieces and a build length of more than 4 feet. It launched around $630 and now trades sealed in the $650 to $850 range. Like the Eiffel Tower, it's a newer set, which means its long-term ceiling is still unknown. But the early trend is already pointing upward, driven by a crossover audience of Lego collectors and Titanic history enthusiasts who rarely overlap with typical set buyers. So, what actually connects these 7 sets? It is not size, and it is not price. It is a combination of 3 things. They were either first in a series, tied to a milestone Lego record, or historically foundational to a theme collectors still care about today. The common myth is that any retired Lego set becomes valuable simply by sitting in a box long enough. That's not true. The vast majority of retired sets never meaningfully appreciate, and some lose value entirely. The sets that do gain value share a pattern: genuine scarcity, cultural or historical significance, and a dedicated fanbase that isn't going anywhere. If you've got any of these sitting sealed in a closet, you're not just holding onto a childhood memory. You're holding onto an asset that's quietly outperformed a lot of what's sitting in most people's investment portfolios, and that's not something Lego ever advertised. It is just what happens when great design meets genuine scarcity.